The second of the 48 Memches Kinyonim, the Torah nicknames Mem, is Shmiat Ha'ozen, listening with your ear, listening. There's a famous piece from the Rashba. The Rashba, in Chuvas Rashba, Chelik Hey Siminun Hey, was asked to explain Kriya Shema. What is Kriya Shema all about? And define the definition, translation of the words Shema. And the Rashba points out, based on Psukim, in that Tshuva, there are three definitions of the word Shema. Shema can mean the capability, the sense of hearing, one of your five senses. You have the capability to hear. And he quotes that's the most obvious explanation. Alternatively, says the Rashba, there's a pasuk in Bereshis, in the end of Sefer Bereshis, regarding Yosef as Tzaddik, Ve'im lo yado ki himlitz binasam, talking about the word Shema over there, that Yosef, they didn't know that Yosef understood them. He heard and understood that Shema doesn't only mean listening, but also can mean understanding. That's explanation number two. Third explanation, says the Rashba, based on a pasuk by Navi Sheker. The pasuk says Sishma'un, which means that the Unclus Targum explains the word Sishma'un is tikavun, acceptance. Okay, so Shema can mean one of three things. It can mean physically hearing, listening. It can mean understanding, or on a deeper level, it could also mean accepting that which is presented in front of you. The Rashba Paskins that when it comes to Kriya Shema, we have to be mechaven for all three things. Shema Yisrael, listen, hear what's going on, understand what it means, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, and accept the reality that Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Three chiyuvim. It's nifsak la'alocha in Shulchan Aruch, brought down by the Mishnah Berurah over there, that a person when it comes to Kriya Shema has to have these three kavanas. He has to have a kavana of hearing, he has to have a kavana of understanding, and a kavana of listening. So when it comes to Shmiat Ha'ozen, when it comes to our Kinyan in Pirkei Avos, L'chaira, all three of these explanations of the word Shema are equally fundamental and important. In other words, a person has to hear what the other person is saying, what his Rebbe is saying, what his Chavrusa is saying. He has to use his Koyach HaShemiyah. Not only that, he has to understand it, not only hear the words and be able to repeat them, but he has to understand them, and he has to accept or make it in order that he can accept the words as well. And this is a beautiful follow-up. It's a beautiful sequel to Talmud, which we explained yesterday to mean a Rebbe teaching, the Messiah from a Rebbe, not only learning, but receiving and understanding that learning that comes from a Rebbe in particular. So in order for that to be effective, you have to have a developed and acquired sense of Shmiat Ha'ozen. The Ruach Chaim, which is the Rav Chaim Volozhiner's explanation on Pirkei Avos, so the Ruach Chaim enlightens us a little bit further. The Ruach Chaim explains Shmiat Ha'ozen based on the following passage. Shim'u, you shall hear v'tichya nafshechem, and you shall have new life. It will give life to your nefesh. Meaning, the chush hashemiyah, the capability of a person to hear that which another person is saying, can affect him much more, much deeper, much greater than that which he learns in a sefer, that which he sees written. Even when he hears from his friend and he's makabel the emes from Misha Amarai, that can have a much more profound impact and effect on the individual. And that's what we're talking about in this mission. This mission is Braisa, that Shmias Oizen, as we said from the Rashba, the 3 levels of Shmias Oizen: physical hearing, a understanding that what you are hearing, and a acceptance of that which you have been told. That has the capability of really reforming and reframing, and having a very deep and profound impact on the person listening. The pasuk in Mishlei says, "Bo zadoin v'yavo koloin v'snuyim chacham." That the zadoin will come and he'll bring with him embarrassment. However, those who are tznuyim, they will have chachma. The Gra explains, what does the pasuk say? That when somebody comes to the Beis Medrash and his whole purpose is to just be a rabble-rouser, he's just there to make fun of other people, he's not searching for the emes, he doesn't want to understand, he's not trying to develop his knowledge and deepen his understanding and connection to Torah, he's there lekanter. He's there just to cause problems, to be the bad guy. So he's going to come to the Beis Medrash and Mevaza is full of, he's going to embarrass everyone. However, says the Vilna Gaon, Slim Chachma, what does that mean? She'ekar ha'chachma, and I quote, he she'shoiskim miloymar teiraso meda'ato, rak shoymim me'raboso. The main source of chachma is someone who is quiet from saying his own Torah, his own deos, rather he listens and receives from his Rebbe. Because when he's saying things, he's not adding anything new. But when he's listening, he's adding to himself. In other words, the Gemara tells us in Meseches Avodah Zarah that when you come to be kasher a kli that is full of blios, it has non-kosher blios inside of it, and you want to kasher the kli. So we know there's a process called hagala. It's a process called hagala. You take the pot, put it in a boiling water, and that removes all of the tamei or non-kosher blios from the pot and puts them into the water. The Gemara asks, hold on, once the non-kosher blios leave the pot and go into the water, so what prevents them from going right back into the pot? Who says they're not just going to be mitame or make that pot not kosher right away? Says the Gemara, Aidi the Torah live like loy bala. As long as the pot is involved in the process of removing or spitting out its blios, it cannot swallow anything new. In other words, the Vilna Gaon is saying when a person wants to become a greater individual, he wants to learn more Torah, he wants to acquire more knowledge, more wisdom, the mahalach, the derech to do that is to stop talking, is to stop spewing your own ideas, your own rationales, and your own Torah. Rather, stop, listen, understand what is being said, and then you're able to incorporate a new concept, new philosophy into your life. The Vilna Gaon over there continues. This is one of the most famous pieces from the Vilna Gaon in an explanation on Mishlei. The Vilna Gaon continues, the greatness, the advantage of speech is not for oneself. But when it comes to the advantage of the ears is for everyone. What does that mean? Says the Vilna Gaon, a person was created with 2 eyes and 2 ears. To look in Torah should be chsav, and to hear Torah should be Torah peh. He's able to hear and look at Torah. 2 eyes, 2 ears. That's incorporating something new from the outside. But the mouth is singular. Why? Because this mouth is only necessary in order to give off information, and shemiah is more important and more fundamental and necessary than giving your information and knowledge to others. It's more important, it's more necessary, it's more fundamental to receive, to develop, and to grow through the oiznayim and through the einayim, looking at Torah Shebechsav and hearing Torah Shebal Peh, than it is to express that information to others through the mouth. So 2, and 1. He quotes the Gemara Megillah, Dafir Ches Meralf, Mila Besela Umishtuku Batrain, that speech, a word, if a word equals 1 sela, if you could buy a word for $1, so you could buy silence for 2. And that's the aside of Rav Chaim Volozhin, that a person should use his koyach hashmi'ah because it's more important, it's more fundamental, more necessary in order to grow than to speak. That's one yesod of shmi'as ha'ozen. Furthermore, Rav Matisyahu says, Rav Matisyahu Solomon, the Mashgiach of Lakewood, points out that based on a piece from the Rabbeinu Yonah and his explanation of Always, says Rav Matisyahu Solomon, a lot of people come to the shiur, and their whole purpose is to listen to what the Rebbe is saying in order to ask a kasha. They're coming to the shiur in order to show why the shiur is wrong. In other words, they don't really care what the Svara, the Maggid Shir, the Shishiva is saying. They're not there to incorporate new information, to internalize a new yesod. They're there for their own benefit, their own self-aggrandizement. They're raising up their own gaiva and kavod. And they're there just to show how they chap something. They know another Mar Makom, they know another something that the Rebbe doesn't know. Explains Rabbeinu Yonah, siag lechachma shtika. You want to have chachma, you want to gain the chachma, you want to internalize chachma and keep the chachma. It's more important to stop and listen and be quiet, not to talk. First, fully understand that which is being presented to you. First, fully have a clear explanation of the svara, of the information being delivered, and then only afterwards, if you still have a kasha, you can ask. But don't go to the shiur, don't go to the chacham with the kasha just in order to show how great you are. Rather, it has to do with the perspective of shmi'as ha'ozen, that I want to understand, I want to beseech the answer, the emes. There are two, if you're medayik in Rav Chaim Volozhin's words, there are really two yesodis that he's presenting. That the maila of shmi'as ha'ozen, why it's so important, first and foremost, is to listen and to have clarity of what is being presented, have clarity to hear and understand. And then the second level is to not only understand, but to clarify that you're able to accept and internalize. You're able to internalize the ideas. First, to have clarity of what is being said, and only later to have a deeper understanding that you're able to internalize that. Those are, as we mentioned from the Rashba, the two levels. The Rashba says there are three. There's first hearing, then understanding, and then accepting. Right? But when it comes to learning, Chaim Volozhin is focusing on levels 2 and 3. There's first clarity of that which is being presented, and then there's internalizing that message. Why is shmi'as ha'ozen, why is listening, why is hearing such a fundamental and important thing? Okay, so to clarify the sugya, say it. To understand it, to accept it, why is it so important specifically to do it through shmi'as ha'ozen? Why can't I read it on a piece of paper? And we mentioned earlier from the Goyin says that reading it on the piece of paper cannot compare in the slightest. Not the Goyin, I'm sorry, Chaim Volozhin, reading it on the paper, even if it's extremely crystal clear, even if it's spelled out, kerachel bitcha ktana, it's not going to impact on the person and affect the person to the same degree that shmi'as ha'ozen will. Why is that the case? So Shai Tshuva Rabbeinu Yonah points out a meridik of art based on a pasuk in Mishlei. The pasuk says, "Me'or einayim yismach leiv, shmua toiva tidashen etzem." Through sight, you'll be happy. You see something gishmak, it will make you happy. However, shemua toiva, if you hear something good that you really understand and appreciate, tidash and etzem will cause your atzamos, your bones, to grow. There's a physical reality that affects the person. When a person hears something, it physically affects the person in a much more sincere way, much more serious way than just sight alone. And that's why the Gemara tells us in Baba Kama that the Oizen is nichbedes mishari varim. The Oizen is the most honorable of all of the person's evarim, because the Oizen that hears has a capability to affect the person in a much deeper and much more profound way. There, if you make somebody chas v'sholom, make somebody deaf, you have to pay the entire value of the individual. If you make him blind, you only have to pay for the value of losing sight. But deaf, if you make a person deaf chas v'chalila, then you have to pay for his entire value. That defines the essence of the individual. In fact, Rabbeinu Yoina and Mishlei, on the hemshech of that pasuk, Oizen sheimas toichachas chayim bekerev chachamim tolin, that an ear that hears toichacha will rest amongst the chachamim. So Rabbeinu Yoina explains, if a person's able to listen to and internalize the messages of Musar, then he's able to live. That is the prerequisite necessary to allow him to live amongst the Chachamim. Explains Rabbeinu Yoina, HaKadosh Baruch Hu merapa kol evachav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu heals a person b'ritia achas. Heals a person. A person has a lot of averis. He did a lot of bad things, and because of every aver he did, so he has this problem, he has that problem, this sorrow, that sorrow. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to fix the person. He fixes him with one way. What's the medicine, the refuah that comes from Kadosh Baruch Hu? Says Rabbeinu Yoina, specifically through Shmiat HaOzen. And that's why he says the pasuk that we mentioned from Chayv Lashon, Hot Oznechem. If you listen, it gives life to your soul. Listening has the capability to have such a profound impact on the person that it not only helps to clarify matters, not only helps for understanding, it not only helps for acceptance, but has an acceptance in such a way that it can internalize it, and mamish can change the essence of the individual. A powerful pep rally, a powerful shmooze can affect a person 10 times more effectively, quicker than the exact same shmooze written down in a sefer or written down on a piece of paper. The words, the way they're delivered, the hearing of it, the listening, not because it makes it easier to understand and clearer, because it could be crystal clear on the same paper, but because you heard it and you used your Shmiat HaOzen, that allows for the internalization of the message in a much more profound and much more deep way. And that's what Rav Matisyahu ends with. That what you hear with your ear, it has the capability of changing the person into a different person altogether. That was a whole different person. To end with a short ma'aseh from one of my rebbeim, he was a bacher in Chevron Yeshiva. And the mashgiach at Chevron Yeshiva was the famous Rameir Chodesh. And one day, Rameir Chodesh tells my rebbe, he says, please, can you come on a walk with me? Mashgiach asks, what are you going to say? No, I'm not going to say no to the mashgiach. So he says, okay, go on a walk with Rameir Chodesh. And he knew that if the mashgiach is asking him to go on a walk, that there's big, stark mussar that's about to come. It's not a good sign if the mashgiach wants to talk to you, especially wants to go on a long walk with you. So you start walking. the Mashgiach starts relaying the Gemara in Gittin about Chorban Beis HaMikdash. Going from the beginning of the story of Kamsa and Bar Kamsa with all the details and relaying all the details. And eventually, the Gemara says that Yochanan ben Zakkai says, he gets to the tent of the general, and he tells the general that you were just made the Caesar, you were just made in charge of all of Rome. And the general says, you're married to Malchus. It's not true, Yochanan ben Zakkai. I'm not the general, I'm the general, I'm not the Caesar. And as he's sitting there, a message is delivered that Taka, the emperor, died, and now you've been made the emperor of Rome, you became the Caesar. And the Gemara says that his bones expanded, he couldn't get his shoe off. And he turns to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, and he says, I see that you're Taka, you know what's going on here, more than I thought. So how can I get my shoe off? Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai says, quotes from this pasuk, Shmua toiva tidashin etzen, that a good shmua is going to cause your bones to expand. And a shmua ra does the opposite. It causes your bones to contract, and you'll look at somebody who's going to make you upset, and all of a sudden your bones will go back to the normal position. You'll be able to get your shoe off. So Meir Chodesh turns to my Rebbe and goes, no, have your bones ever expanded? The Rebbe turns to me, what? Have your bones ever expanded for something you've heard? He goes, no. Does you know why? Why? Because you're always interested in talking. You're never interested in listening and internalizing. It's time to start to grow ears. They're standing by the chaimas of the old city of Yerushalayim. Mamish with the chaimas of the old city of Yerushalayim. The Meir Chodesh says to me, Rebbe, it's time to start to grow ears. Things should be meaningful. Things should be impactful. Things should be able, shmuos that we hear, should be able to affect us in a very deep sense that our bones, mamish, can expand and become a lafoich leish acher v'tichya nafshechem. That's the yesod of Shmias HaOzen.